3 months after the liberation of New Busan, the colony looked completely different. Where damaged buildings had once stood, new structures made from advanced Earth materials now reached toward the sky. The streets that had been torn up by alien weapons were now smooth and wide, filled with the sounds of construction and renewal. Dr. Park Mina stood in her new laboratory, watching as Earth engineers installed communication equipment that was more advanced than anything the colony had ever possessed. Her improvised radio array had been replaced by a quantum communication system that could reach Earth instantly. Dr. Park called her new assistant engineer specialist Kim Jun-woo, who had come with the Earth fleet. "The new array is ready for testing." "Excellent," she replied, still amazed at how quickly everything had changed. "Open a channel to Earth Defense Command." The holographic display activated immediately, showing Admiral Ryu Taemin in his office back on Earth. The quality was so clear it seemed like he was standing in the room with them. "Dr. Park," the Admiral said with a smile, "how are the new systems working?" "Perfectly, Admiral," she replied. "We can now communicate with Earth as easily as talking to someone in the next room. Thank you for making this possible." "It is the least we could do," Ryu Taemin said. "New Busan will never be isolated again." The medical center had also been completely rebuilt. Medical Officer Lee Young-soo walked through the new facilities with Dr. Oh Ji-woo, both of them amazed at the advanced equipment Earth had provided. "Look at this," Oh Ji-woo said, examining a diagnostic machine that could analyze a patient's condition in seconds. "This one device is more advanced than our entire old medical center." "The children with the fever are all healthy now," Lee Young-soo reported, checking his patient records. "The new medicines from Earth cured them completely. And we have enough medical supplies to last for years," Oh Ji-woo added. "No one will have to suffer from treatable diseases ever again." In the power plant, engineer Yoon Soo-jin was training local technicians on the new fusion reactor that Earth engineers had installed. The advanced reactor produced 10 times more power than the old generator, and it was designed to run for decades without major maintenance. "The reactor will provide clean, reliable power for the entire colony," she explained to her trainees. "And if anything does go wrong, Earth engineers can provide support through the communication link." Technician Lee Jun-seok raised his hand. "Engineer Yoon, what happened to the old power plant?" "We kept it as a backup system," she replied, "but also as a reminder of what we survived together. That old generator helped keep people alive during the darkest days." The colony's defenses had been upgraded as well. Fleet Captain Nam Eun-hae had remained at New Busan to establish the New Busan Defense Group, a permanent Earth fleet presence in the system. "We have 12 ships stationed here permanently," she explained to Administrator Lee Hyun during their weekly security briefing, "plus orbital defense platforms that can detect any approaching vessels long before they reach the planet." "Will that be enough?" Lee Hyun asked. "More than enough," Nam Eun-hae replied confidently. "But more importantly, every hostile species in this region now knows that attacking human colonies means facing Earth's full military response." Security Chief Choi Jun was training with Earth Marines who had stayed to help rebuild the colony's security forces. Colonel Bae Dong-jun had left a full company of Marines to provide training and support. "The key is preparation and communication," explained Marine Sergeant Kim Tae-ho as he showed the security volunteers how to use their new weapons. "With the new early warning systems, you will have hours to prepare for any attack instead of minutes. And if something does happen," added Sergeant First Class Yoo Ji-hoon, "Earth forces can be here within days, not months." In the rebuilt administration building, Director Kang Bo-ram was meeting with the new Earth Colonial Development Office. The team had been sent to help New Busan grow into a major settlement. "We are proposing to expand the colony to accommodate 200,000 people, explained Development Coordinator Park Sung-ho. "New Busan is perfectly positioned to become a major hub for this entire region." 200,000? Kang Bo-ram was amazed. "We started with 50,000 and barely survived with that many. With Earth's support and the new infrastructure, you can support many more people," Park Sung-ho replied. "In fact, we already have families volunteering to move here from Earth." Supply Manager Han Yuri was overseeing the arrival of regular cargo ships from Earth. The supply shortages that had plagued the colony for years were now just a bad memory. We receive a supply convoy every 2 weeks, she reported to the colony council. Food, medicine, equipment, whatever we need. Earth has guaranteed that New Busan will never go without essential supplies again. Communications Officer Jung So-young had been promoted to head of the new Planetary Communications Center. Her old job of trying to contact Earth had been replaced by managing constant communication with dozens of Earth facilities. We handle over 1,000 messages per day now, she told her staff. Personal messages from colonists to families on Earth, business communications, government reports, scientific data. New Busan is fully connected to human civilization again. The memorial wall had been moved to a place of honor in the new Central Plaza. The names of those who had died defending the colony were engraved in black stone, surrounded by gardens and fountains. But now there was also a new section dedicated to the Earth forces who had died in the liberation. Pilot Shin Woo-hyun, who had survived his desperate escape mission, stood before the memorial with his family. His wife, Park Soo-jin, and their 2 children had arrived on one of the first civilian ships after the liberation. "Daddy," asked his 6-year-old daughter Lee Hyo-jin, "why are there so many names here?" "These are the names of very brave people," he replied softly. "They fought to protect our home and some of them died doing it. We remember them so we never forget how precious our freedom is." The colony's children, who had grown up in fear and uncertainty, were now attending new schools with Earth teachers. They learned not just about New Busan, but about the wider human civilization they were part of. Teacher Moon Ha-young was conducting a history class when one of her students asked about the liberation. "Mrs. Moon," said 10-year-old Kim Do-jin, "my parents say Earth sent hundreds of ships to save us. Is that really true?" "Yes, it is true," she replied. "Earth sent its entire first expeditionary fleet to rescue New Busan, 300 ships and 20,000 people, all to save our colony." "Why would they do that for us?" asked another student. "Because," Moon Ha-young said, "that is what families do for each other, and all humans are part of one big family." In his office, Administrator Lee Hyun was reading reports about the colony's reconstruction when Admiral Ryu Tae-min contacted him for their weekly conference. "Administrator," the Admiral said, "I have some news that might interest you. We have captured several Vorthak survivors from other battles. Under interrogation, they revealed that New Busan was supposed to be just the first target in a major offensive against human colonies." "What happened to that offensive?" Lee Hyun asked. "It was cancelled," Ryu Tae-min replied with satisfaction. "The complete destruction of their New Busan attack force convinced the Vorthak High Command that humans are too dangerous to attack. They have withdrawn from this entire sector of space. So we are safe?" "You are more than safe," the Admiral said. "New Busan has become a symbol throughout this region. Other species now know that Earth protects its colonies with overwhelming force. Several alien governments have actually requested diplomatic relations with humanity." Intelligence Officer Moon Jae-sung had been analyzing the captured Vorthak data when he made an important discovery. He contacted Lee Hyun immediately. "Administrator, I have found something interesting in the alien records," he reported. "The Vorthak have detailed files on dozens of human colonies. They were planning to attack all of them systematically." "That is disturbing news," Lee Hyun replied. "Actually, it is good news," Moon Jae-sung said. "We now know which colonies are vulnerable, and Earth is sending defense fleets to all of them. The Vorthak plans have backfired completely." Chief Engineer Lim Seok-jin had remained at New Busan to oversee the installation of orbital manufacturing facilities. The colony was becoming not just a mining settlement but a major industrial center. "We are now producing advanced components for Earth's fleet," he explained to the colony leadership. "New Busan is contributing to humanity's expansion into this region." "How many jobs will this create?" asked Economic Development Officer Kim Min-jae. "Thousands," Lim Seok-jin replied. "Skilled technical positions that will attract the best people from throughout human space." Dr. Park Mina had been working with Earth scientists to study the Vorthak technology recovered from the battle. Their research was producing breakthroughs that would benefit all human colonies. "The alien shield technology is actually quite simple. Once you understand the principles," she explained to her research team, "we can adapt it to protect our ships and installations, Will this technology be shared with other colonies? Asked research assistant Ko Yan Hee. Of course, Park Mina replied. That is how human civilization advances, by sharing knowledge for everyone's. The hyperspace portals opened like flowers of light at the edge of the New Busan system. One by one, Earth's warships emerged from the swirling energy tunnels. First came the scout ships, sleek and fast. Then the heavy cruisers, bristling with weapons. Finally, the massive battleships appeared, led by the flagship UES Seoul's Pride. Admiral Ryu Taemin stood on his bridge, watching the tactical display as his fleet took formation. 300 ships, the largest force Earth had ever assembled, for a single mission. Fleet deployment complete, reported Navigation Officer Kim Do-hyun. All ships in attack formation. Sensor report, the Admiral ordered. Sir, called Sensor Operator Park Min-jae. I am detecting 50 alien vessels around the planet. They appear to be conducting planetary bombardment operations. Ryu Taemin's face hardened. After traveling for months to reach New Busan, they had arrived in the middle of the final assault. Are there any human life signs on the planet? Scanning now, sir, Park Min-jae replied. After a long moment, he looked up with relief. Yes, sir. I am detecting human biosignatures in underground shelters. The colony is still alive. Fleet Captain. Tombit the Admiral turned to his second-in-command. Prepare for immediate assault. I want those alien ships destroyed before they can do any more damage to our people. Fleet Captain Nam Yun-hai nodded grimly. All fighter squadrons launch immediately. Target the alien ships bombarding the planet. Heavy ships, prepare main. Batteries for long-range engagement. On the Vorthak flagship, Commander Veltar was watching his ground forces advance through New Busan when his tactical officer called out in alarm. Commander, multiple hyperspace signatures detected at the system perimeter. More Vorthak ships? Veltar asked without looking up from his planetary display. No, sir. The signatures are wrong. These are not our vessels. Veltar turned to his main viewer just as the Earth fleet finished its deployment. His eyes widened in shock. How many ships? Over 300, sir. All of unknown design. For the first time in years, Veltar felt fear. The humans were supposed to be primitive, isolated, helpless. Where had this massive fleet come from? All ships, break off the planetary assault, he ordered. Form defensive formation. Prepare for battle. But it was too late. The human fleet was already moving. Commander Song Hae-rin was coordinating the AI battle systems as the fleet advanced. Her computers were analyzing the alien ships looking for weaknesses. AI tactical assessment complete, she announced. Enemy vessels show advanced shielding but limited armor. Recommend concentrated fusion weapon strikes. Acknowledged, replied Admiral Ryu. All ships target the alien fleet. Fire when ready. The space around New Busan lit up with weapons fire. Earth's fusion cannons reached out across the void, striking the surprised Vorthak ships with devastating effect. The aliens had expected to face helpless colonists, not a modern military fleet. Chief Engineer Lim Seok-jin monitored the weapons performance from his station. Main batteries operating at full power, he reported. Fusion reactors stable. We can maintain this rate of fire indefinitely. The first alien ship exploded in a ball of fire as its shields collapsed under the human assault. Then another. The Vorthak formation was breaking apart as ships tried to escape the unexpected attack. Enemy vessels are attempting to flee, reported Sensor Operator Park Min-jae. Do not let them. Admiral Ryu ordered coldly. I want every ship that attacked our colony destroyed. No survivors. Colonel Bae Dong-jun was preparing his Marines for planetary assault when the space battle began. Through the viewports of his transport ship, he could see explosions lighting up the darkness as human and alien vessels fought. Marines, he called to his troops. Our people are down there under attack. We are going to get them out. Check your equipment and prepare for immediate deployment. Sergeant First Class Yu Ji-hoon was loading his plasma rifle when the ship shook from weapons fire. Sir, what is the tactical situation on the planet? Unknown, Bae Dong-jun replied. But we go in fighting, and we do not leave until every human is safe. The marine assault ships broke away from the main fleet and headed for New Busan's surface. Behind them, the space battle continued to rage. On the planet, the people in the underground bunkers could hear the explosions overhead. But now the sounds were different. Mixed with the alien weapons fire were new sounds, human weapons, human. Ship's Administrator Lee Hyun was in the command bunker when Communications Officer Jong So-young called out excitedly, "Sir, I'm receiving transmissions on Earth military frequencies." "What?" Lee Hyun rushed to her station. "Listen to this," she said, adjusting her controls. Suddenly, the bunker filled with a voice speaking in Korean. "New Busan Colony, this is Admiral Ryu Tae-min of Earth's 1st Expeditionary Fleet. We are here to get you out. Hold your positions and prepare for immediate evacuation." The bunker erupted in cheers and tears. After years of silence, Earth had finally answered their call. "For help. Can you respond?" Lee Hyun asked. "Yes, sir," Jong So-young replied, her hands shaking with excitement. "This is New Busan Colony responding to Earth Fleet. We are still here. We are still alive." Above ground, the battle was turning decisively in Earth's favor. The Vorthak ships were being destroyed faster than they could retreat. Commander Veltar watched helplessly as his fleet was torn apart by human weapons. "Sir," his tactical officer reported, "we have lost 30 ships. Our remaining vessels are heavily damaged." "Impossible," Veltar snarled. "These humans were supposed to be primitives. How do they have such powerful weapons?" "Orders, sir?" Veltar looked at the tactical display. His ships were being systematically destroyed by an enemy he had underestimated completely. "All ships full retreat. We must report this to High Command." But the human fleet was not letting them escape. Fleet Captain Nam Yoon-hai had deployed her ships to block all escape routes. "Admiral," she reported, "the alien fleet is trapped. They cannot reach hyperspace with our ships in position." "Good," Admiral Ryu replied. "Continue the assault. I want this entire attack force eliminated." The marine assault ships reached New Busan's surface just as the last alien ground troops were being driven back. Colonel Bae Dong-jun led his marines out of their landing craft, their powered armor gleaming in the light of burning buildings. "Secure the landing zone," he ordered. "Find our people and get them to safety." The marines spread out through the damaged colony, their weapons easily overwhelming the remaining alien forces. These Vorthak soldiers had been expecting to fight helpless civilians, not fully equipped Earth Marines. Sergeant First Class Yu Ji-hoon found the entrance to one of the emergency bunkers. "Hello," he called down into the darkness. "This is Earth Marines. You are safe now." Slowly, carefully, the people of New Busan began to emerge from their hiding places. They looked up at the Marines in amazement. For years they had dreamed of this moment, and now it was finally real. Dr. Park Mina climbed out of the bunker and saw Marine medics setting up field hospitals. "You came," she said simply, tears running down her face. "You actually came." "Earth never abandons its children," replied Marine Medic Corporal Han Soo-min, helping her to a medical station. In the medical center, Medical Officer Lee Young-soo was still caring for his patients when Marine rescue teams found him. He had stayed at his post through the entire battle, keeping people alive until help could arrive. "Doctor," called Marine Sergeant Kim Tae-ho, "we are here to evacuate your patients." "Thank you," Lee Young-soo replied, his voice hoarse with exhaustion. "I was not sure anyone would come. Earth always comes," the sergeant replied firmly. Engineer Yoon Soo-jin was found unconscious at her station in the power plant, having worked until she collapsed from exhaustion. Marine engineers carefully carried her to safety, marveling at her dedication. "She kept the power running through the entire battle," reported Chief Engineer Marine Specialist Lee Chang-min. "Without her, the life support systems would have failed." In space, the last Vorthak ship was destroyed in a brilliant explosion. Commander Veltar's flagship had been the final target, and it died with all hands aboard. The alien fleet that had terrorized New Busan for years was completely eliminated. "All enemy vessels destroyed," reported Fleet Captain Nam Yoon-hai. "The system is secure." Admiral Ryu Tae-min nodded with satisfaction. Send a message to Earth. Mission accomplished. New Busan colony is liberated. The Admiral's command shuttle landed in the central plaza of New Busan, where Administrator Lee Hyun was waiting with the surviving colony leaders. The two men faced each other across the scarred ground where so many had fought and died. Administrator Lee Hyun? Admiral Ryu asked. Yes, sir. Lee Hyun replied, standing as straight as his exhausted body would allow. Admiral Ryu Tae-min stepped forward and embraced the colony administrator. Earth never forgets its children, he said. I am sorry it took us so long to get here. Lee Hyun could not speak for a moment. Finally, he managed to say, We knew you would come. We always knew. Around them, Earth ships filled the sky, their weapons silent now but ready. The message was clear to any other hostile species that might be watching. Humanity protected its own, no matter how far away they might be. The people of New Busan were finally safe. Earth had kept its promise. Commander Veltar stood on the bridge of his flagship, looking down at the human colony through his viewing screen. Today would be the day he finally ended this long game. 50 Vorthak warships hung in space around New Busan, more than enough. Firepower to turn the entire settlement into smoking ruins. All ships report ready for planetary assault, his tactical officer announced. Excellent, Veltar replied, showing his sharp teeth. Begin the attack. I want every human building destroyed and every human dead within 6 hours. The first wave of Vorthak fighters screamed down through the atmosphere, their weapons lighting. Up the morning sky above New Busan colony. On the ground, the warning sirens began wailing immediately. Captain Kim Dae-ho ran to his command post where his remaining security forces were waiting for orders. They all knew this was different from the previous attacks. The aliens were coming in massive numbers. All defensive positions. Report status. He called into his radio. Turret 1 operational, came the first reply. Turret 2 offline, no ammunition, came the second. Turret 3, damaged, limited function. Kim Dae-ho felt his heart sink. Out of 12 defensive turrets, only 4 were still working properly. They had maybe 30 minutes of ammunition left for the working guns. All civilian personnel to emergency shelters immediately, he broadcast throughout the colony. This is not a drill. All civilians to emergency shelters now. Security Chief Choi Jun was at the main gate when the first alien fighters swooped overhead. Their weapons turned the guard towers into burning wreckage in seconds. The few defensive guns that fired back had little effect on the alien shields. Fall back to secondary positions, he ordered his security teams. Do not waste ammunition on targets you cannot damage. Sergeant Hong Gi-tae was leading a group of volunteers armed with mining tools and the few remaining rifles. They took cover behind concrete barriers as alien weapons fire tore up the ground around them. Sergeant, called one of his men. What are our orders? Fight as long as we can, Hong Gi-tae replied grimly. Make them pay for every meter of ground. He knew it was hopeless. These volunteers were miners and technicians, not soldiers, but they were also parents and citizens of New Busan. They would not run away while their families needed protection. In the medical center, Oh Ji-woo was trying to evacuate her patients to the underground emergency bunkers. Many of them were too sick to move easily. The children with fever were weak and scared. Nurse Park, she called to her assistant, help me get these patients to the emergency ward downstairs. Doctor, the power is failing again, Park Seo-jin replied. The life support machines will not work in the bunkers. Oh, Ji-woo looked at the patients depending on those machines. If she moved them, they would die. If she stayed here, they would die when the aliens destroyed the medical center. We stay, she decided. We cannot abandon them. Medical officer, Lee Young-soo heard her decision over the radio. He was in another part of the medical center treating injuries from the first wave of attacks. Dr. Oh, I am staying too, he announced. These people need us. You should evacuate with the others. Oh Ji-woo protested. No, Lee Young-soo said firmly. I became a doctor to save lives. That does not change just because the building is under attack. Engineer Yoon Soo-jin was in the power plant trying to keep the emergency systems running. Every explosion shook the building and threatened to damage the critical equipment. Yoon! came Administrator Lee Hyun's voice over the radio. You need to evacuate to the bunkers. Not yet, she replied, adjusting the power flow to keep the medical center online. The hospital needs power for life support. I can give them another 20 minutes. The aliens will be here in 10 minutes. Then I will give them 10 minutes, Yoon Soo-jin said calmly. Every life we save is worth it. Dr. Park Mina was still in her laboratory, frantically trying to send one last message to Earth. Her improvised communication array was barely holding together as explosions rocked the building. Lee Jun-seok, she called to her assistant. Help me boost the signal power. Dr. Park, we need to evacuate now, he replied, fear clear in his voice. 1 more minute, she insisted. If Earth is listening, they need to know what happened here. Inenki activated the transmitter and spoke into the microphone. This is New Busan Colony. We are under final attack by alien forces. We will not surrender. Earth, if you can hear this, we held the line. Tell our families we were brave. The message, repeated automatically as they ran for the emergency exits. Behind them, alien weapons fire began destroying the laboratory. Director Kang Boram was in the main command bunker, coordinating the evacuation of civilians. Families were streaming into the underground shelters, carrying whatever they could. Grab. Children were crying and parents looked terrified. How many people are still in the residential areas? She asked her assistants. At least 5,000, came the reply. The attacks came too fast. Many people could not reach the shelters in time. Kang Boram made a difficult decision. Send security teams to get as many as possible. Use the maintenance tunnels if the streets are too dangerous. Communications officer Jong So-young was monitoring all frequencies trying to coordinate the defense. But the alien jamming was overwhelming her equipment. I am losing contact with the outer defensive positions, she reported. The aliens are blocking all our communications. Keep trying, Lee Hyun ordered. He was standing in the command center watching the tactical display as red symbols marked alien positions throughout the colony. There were too many to count. Pilot Shin Woo-hyun was preparing his desperate escape mission when the final attack began. His modified survey ship was hidden in a camouflaged hangar near the spaceport. Shin, came Lee Hyun's voice over the radio. Abort your mission. It is too dangerous now. No, sir, Shin Woo-hyun replied, starting his engines. If I wait any longer, there will be no one left to save. I am taking off now. His ship lifted from the hangar just as alien fighters were strafing the spaceport. Laser fire lit up the sky around him as he pushed his engines to maximum power. This is pilot Shin Woo-hyun, he broadcast on all frequencies. If anyone can hear this, New Busan Colony is under attack. We need immediate assistance. Please, if Earth still exists, send help. His ship climbed toward space, dodging alien weapons fire. Several enemy fighters moved to intercept him, but he had one advantage. He knew this system better than they did. On the ground, the battle was becoming desperate. Captain Kim Dae-ho's security forces were being pushed back from position after position. The alien ground troops had landed and were advancing through the colony with overwhelming firepower. All units fall back to the central district, he ordered. We make our final stand at the administration building. The surviving defenders gathered around the colony's heart. Miners with improvised weapons stood next to security officers with the last remaining rifles. They were vastly outnumbered, but they would not give up. Administrator Lee Hyun climbed to the roof of the administration building to address his people one last time. The alien ships were clearly visible overhead, and enemy soldiers were advancing. Through the streets below, people of New Busan, he announced over the emergency broadcast system, we have fought bravely, and we have held our ground as long as possible. Whatever happens next, remember that we never surrendered. We are citizens of Earth, and we do not abandon our home or our families. In the underground bunkers, families huddled together as the sounds of battle grew closer. Parents told their children stories to distract them from the explosions overhead. Teachers led groups of students in quiet songs from Earth. Elder Council member Kim Sunmi looked around at the frightened faces. We must have hope, she told them. Earth knows we are here. Help will come. When? Asked a young mother holding her baby. Soon, Kim Sunmi replied. though she did not believe her own words. Above ground, the final defense was collapsing. Sergeant Hong Yi-tae and his volunteers were making their last stand at the central plaza. They had no ammunition left, only determination for New Busan, he shouted, leading a charge against the advancing alien troops. Medical officer Lee Young-soo was still working in the medical center when alien soldiers reached the building. He could hear their footsteps in the corridors outside. Dr. Oh. He called to his colleague, "It has been an honor working with you." "The honor was mine," she replied, continuing to care for her patients even as weapons fire echoed through the building. Engineer Yoon Soo-jin managed to keep the power running until the very last moment. When alien troops finally reached the power plant, she was still at her controls, ensuring that the medical center had electricity for its life support systems. The colony was falling. Building by building, street by street, the aliens were taking control. But the humans of New Busan had fought with courage and dignity. They had proven that Earth's children would never surrender easily. In space above the battle, pilot Shin Woo-hyun's ship finally broke through the alien blockade. His engines were damaged and his life support was failing, but he was free. As he looked back at his dying colony, he saw something impossible on his sensors. Massive hyperspace signatures were appearing at the edge of the system. More ships than he had ever seen before. "This is impossible," he whispered, checking his instruments again. "There are hundreds of them." The cavalry had arrived. The message from New Busan Colony finally reached Earth after traveling through space for months. It arrived at the Deep Space Communications Center in Seoul at exactly 14:32 local time on a Tuesday afternoon. Communications specialist Kim Hee-jin was monitoring the long-range receivers when the signal came through. At first, she thought it was just space noise. The signal was weak and broken up. But when she cleaned it up and played it back, she nearly fell out of her chair. "Supervisor," she called across the control room. "You need to hear this immediately." Supervisor Park Jun-ho rushed over to her station. He listened to the message 3 times before he understood what he was hearing. "My God," he whispered. "How old is this signal?" Kim Hye-jin checked her instruments. "Based on the transmission path, sir, this message is at least 6 months old. Maybe more." "Get me Admiral Ryu Tae-min on the priority channel," Park Jun-ho ordered. "Right now." Admiral Ryu Tae-min was in his office at Earth Defense Command when the call came through. He was a tall man with gray hair and tired eyes. For the past 10 years, he had been building Earth's military forces after humanity's first contact with hostile alien species. "Admiral," came the voice through his communicator, "we have received a distress signal from New Busan Colony. They are under attack and requesting immediate assistance." Ryu Tae-min sat up straight. "New Busan? I thought that colony was destroyed years ago." "No, sir. They are still alive. But the signal is old. They may not have much time left." "Send me all the data immediately," the Admiral ordered, "and call an emergency meeting of the Defense Council now." 2 hours later, the Earth Defense Council was meeting in the secure chamber deep beneath the capital. General Moon Kyung-soo, Minister of Defense Choi Yeon-hee, and Admiral Ryu Tae-min sat around the holographic display showing New Busan's location. "The colony is here." Admiral Ryu pointed to a star system on the edge of known space. "Approximately 3 months travel time at maximum hyperspace speed." "What forces do we have available?" asked Defense Minister Choi. Fleet Captain Nam Yoon-hae spoke up from her position at the tactical display. "First Expeditionary Fleet is fully ready for deployment. 300 ships including the flagship UES Seoul's Pride." 300 ships? General Moon looked surprised. "Is that not excessive for a rescue mission?" "Sir," Admiral Ryu replied firmly, "we do not know what we are facing out there. The aliens who attacked New Busan may have reinforced their position, and we need to send a message to every hostile species in the galaxy. Earth protects its children." Defense Minister Choi nodded slowly. "What are you recommending, Admiral?" "Full deployment," Ryu Tae-min said without hesitation. "Operation Thunderstorm. We take the entire First Fleet and we show these aliens what happens when they attack human colonies." The vote was unanimous. Within 1 hour, Operation Thunderstorm was approved and the fleet began preparing for immediate departure. Colonel Bai Dongjun was training with the 15th Marine Assault Division when the deployment order came through. His soldiers were practicing urban combat in the training facilities. They were good troops, well-equipped and experienced from several small conflicts. "Listen up," he called to his Marines. "We have a real mission. Human colony under attack. Coordinates unknown, enemy strength unknown. We deploy in 18 hours. Sergeant First Class Yu Ji-hoon raised his hand. "Sir, what are we facing?" "Hostile aliens," Bai Dongjun replied. "Beyond that, we will find out when we get there. But remember your training. We are Marines. We go where others cannot go, and we bring our people home." The Marines began checking their equipment immediately. Powered armor suits, plasma rifles, heavy weapons, medical supplies. Everything they might need for a planetary assault against an unknown enemy. Commander Song Hae-rin was in the fleet's central computer core, preparing the AI systems for the long journey. The newest Earth ships had artificial intelligence that could help with navigation, tactics, and combat coordination. "Central AI, begin long-range mission preparation," she commanded. "Acknowledged, Commander," replied the smooth voice of the computer. "Destination, New Busan Colony. Estimated enemy strength, unknown. Recommended fleet configuration, heavy assault formation." "Load all available data on the target system," Song Hae-rin ordered. "I want to know everything about the terrain, the colony layout, and possible enemy positions. Data compilation in progress. Warning: information on this system is over 4 years old. Current conditions may vary significantly." Chief Engineer Lim Seok-jin was supervising the final preparations of the fleet's weapon systems. Earth's newest ships carried fusion-powered energy weapons that could punch through almost any known shield technology. "How are the main batteries?" he asked his assistant. "All fusion reactors operating at optimal efficiency," came the reply. "Energy weapons are charged and ready. Missile magazines are fully loaded." "Good," Lim Seok-jin said. "Whatever destroyed those communication relays at New Busan, they are about to learn that Earth has upgraded since then." The UES Soul's Pride was the largest warship ever built by humanity, 3 kilometers long and armed with enough firepower to destroy a small moon. Admiral Ryu Tae-min stood on its bridge, watching the final preparations. "Fleet status report," he requested. "All ships ready for hyperspace jump," reported Navigation Officer Kim Do-hyun. "Course plotted for New Busan system. Estimated travel time, 11 weeks. 11 weeks, the Admiral repeated. "Let us hope the colony can hold out that long." Captain Lee Jae-woo, the ship's commanding officer, approached the Admiral. "Sir, the crew is asking about the mission parameters. They want to know if this is a rescue operation or a war." Admiral Ryu Tae-min looked out at the fleet assembled around his flagship. 300 of Earth's most advanced warships, each equipped with weapons that could level a city. 20,000 of humanity's best-trained soldiers and spacers. "Tell them," he said slowly, "that we are going to bring our people home. And if anyone tries to stop us, then yes, it will be a war." The hyperspace jump began at exactly 06:01 Earth Standard Time. One by one, the ships of First Expeditionary Fleet disappeared into the swirling tunnel of hyperspace. The largest rescue mission in human history was underway. Back on Earth, the news of the fleet's departure spread quickly. Families with relatives in distant colonies watched the broadcasts with mixed feelings. Relief that Earth would come to help, but fear about what the fleet might find when it arrived. In the Parliament building, President Park Min-jung addressed the nation. "Citizens of Earth," she said, looking directly into the cameras, "today we have launched Operation Thunderstorm to rescue our people at New Busan Colony. This mission represents more than just a rescue. It represents our promise that no human settlement, no matter how distant, will ever stand alone against hostile forces." The speech was broadcast to every human colony in known space. On mining stations and agricultural worlds, on research outposts and trading hubs, humans heard the message clearly. Earth remembers. Earth comes for its children. Aboard the Soul's Pride, Admiral Ryu Tai-min sat in his private quarters, studying the intelligence. Reports about New Busan. The colony had 50,000 people when it was established. How many were still alive? What condition were they in? How strong were the alien forces holding them? There were too many unknowns. But that did not matter. The fleet would arrive, assess the situation, and do whatever was necessary to complete the mission. "Admiral," came a voice over the intercom. "We are receiving a priority message from Earth Defense Command." "Put it through," Ryu Tai-min replied. The holographic display showed Defense Minister Choi in her office back on Earth. "Admiral, we have decoded more of the original distress signal. The attacking force appears to be from something called the Vorthak Empire. Our intelligence files have limited information about them, but they seem to be a militaristic species with advanced technology." "How advanced?" the Admiral asked. "Unknown, sir. But they were able to completely cut off communication with New Busan for years. That suggests significant capabilities." "Understood," Ryu Tai-min replied. "We will proceed as planned." "Admiral," Defense Minister Choi continued, "the President wants me to make one thing clear. This is not just a rescue mission anymore. If these Vorthak are attacking human colonies, we need to send a message that will prevent future attacks." "What kind of message?" "The kind that will make every hostile species in the galaxy think twice before targeting human settlements." Admiral Ryu Tai-min smiled grimly. "I understand perfectly, Minister. Earth's message will be delivered." The fleet continued its journey through hyperspace, racing toward New Busan at the maximum possible speed. Behind them, Earth's shipyards were already building more ships. If this was the beginning of a larger conflict, humanity would be ready. In the deep space between stars, 300 human warships carried Earth's promise toward a distant colony. Soon, very soon, the people of New Busan would see that they had not been forgotten. 6 months had passed since the last council meeting, and things had gotten much worse. Security Chief Choi Jun stood on the colony's main watchtower, looking at the damage from the latest alien attack. 3 buildings had been destroyed, and 15 people were dead. The aliens were getting bolder. What used to be quick flyby attacks had become longer assaults. They would come down close to the colony and fire their weapons at random targets. It was like they were practicing, learning how to kill humans more efficiently. "Sir," called Sergeant Hong Gi-tae from below, "we are almost out of ammunition for the defense turrets." Choi Jun climbed down from the tower. His security force had started with 200 volunteers. Now he had only 150. Some had been killed in the attacks. Others had been injured too badly to fight. A few had simply given up and refused to carry weapons anymore. "How much do we have left?" he asked Hong Gi-tae. "Maybe enough for one more major attack," the sergeant replied. "After that we will be fighting with mining tools and kitchen knives." Choi Jun nodded grimly. He had been a police officer on Earth before coming to New Busan. He knew how to handle criminals and solve problems peacefully. But this was war, and he was not trained for war. Engineer Yoon Soo-jin was deep inside the power plant when the alarm started ringing. The main generator had finally broken down completely. The backup systems were trying to carry the load, but they were not strong enough. "Emergency power only," she announced over the radio. "All non-essential systems must be shut down immediately." The colony went dark except for the medical center and security stations. The mining operations stopped completely. The water recycling system slowed down. Even the heating in residential areas was turned off. Medic O.G. Woo was working in the medical center when the power failed. Half of her equipment stopped working instantly. The patients on life support systems were now in danger. "Yoon, I need power back in medical," she called frantically. "I am trying," came the reply. "But the backup generators are overloaded. I can give you 30 minutes of full power, then it has to cycle down again." O.G. Woo looked around at her patients. The fever was still spreading, and now she had injured people from the latest attack. She had medicine for maybe another month. Then she would be treating people with bandages and hope. In her laboratory, Dr. Park Mina was still trying to repair the communication array. She had been working on it for months, taking apart broken pieces and trying to build something that could send a message to Earth. "It is impossible," she muttered, throwing down her tools in frustration. "I need parts that we do not have. I need equipment that was destroyed years ago." Her assistant, technician Lee Jun-seok, looked up from his work. "What if we use parts from the mining equipment?" "I already tried that," Park Mina said. "The frequency ranges are all wrong. It would be like trying to use a shovel as a radio antenna." "What about the personal communicators if we connected hundreds of them together?" Park Mina stopped and thought about this. "That might actually work," she said slowly. "Not to reach Earth directly, but maybe we could boost our signal enough to reach the nearest relay station." "If any relay stations are still working," Lee Jun-seok said. "One way to find out," Park Mina replied, already reaching for her tools. Director. Kang Boram was meeting with the Colony Council again. The news was worse than ever. Food supplies were running critically low. The power situation was desperate. Medical supplies were almost gone. And now they had reports that more alien ships had been seen in the system. "We cannot wait any longer," said pilot Shin Woo-hyun. "I have to try to break through their blockade." "With what ship?" asked Chief Engineer Lim Min-ho. "Our cargo shuttles are not built for combat or long-distance travel." "I will take the mining survey vessel," Shin Woo-hyun replied. "It has better engines and stronger hull armor than the shuttles." "That ship barely has life support for a week-long journey," Council member Kim Sun-mi protested. "And you would have to travel for months to reach the nearest human settlement." "I can modify the life support systems," offered engineer Yoon Soo-jin. "It will not be comfortable, but it might work." Administrator Lee Hyun listened to the discussion. Every option seemed hopeless. Stay and die slowly or try to escape and die quickly. Those seemed to be their only choices. "What about the evacuation plan?" he asked. Supply manager Han Yuri shook her head. "The mountain caves can maybe hide a few hundred people. But 50,000? It is impossible. And winter is coming. The temperature will drop below freezing." Communications officer Jong So-young had been quiet during the meeting, but now she spoke up. "Administrator, I have been monitoring alien communications. I think they are planning something big." Everyone turned to look at her. "What kind of something?" Lee Hyun asked. "More ships are coming," she replied. "I cannot understand their language, but the radio traffic has increased dramatically. Whatever they are planning, it is going to happen soon." On his command ship, Commander Veltar was indeed planning something. He had received new orders from the Vorthak High Command. They wanted this sector cleared immediately so their colony, ships could move in. "How long have we been playing with these humans?" he asked his tactical officer. "Nearly 4 years, sir," came the reply. "Too long," Veltar decided. "The High Command is getting impatient. We will end this within the next few days." "What about using them for training exercises?" "We have 50 ships in this battle group now," Veltar said. "Each crew needs combat experience, but we can get that by destroying the colony quickly and efficiently. No more games." His weapons officer looked excited. "Finally, these humans have been boring to watch." "Prepare the fleet for planetary assault," Veltar commanded. "We will attack in 3 days. I want every human facility destroyed and every human dead. Make it clean and thorough." Back on New Busan, the colonists could sense that something was changing. The alien ships that usually stayed far away were coming closer. There were more of them now, at least 50 according to the sensors. Medical officer Lee Young-soo was working late in the emergency clinic. More people were getting sick, and injuries from the deteriorating infrastructure were increasing. A support beam had collapsed in Sector 7, trapping 12 miners. The rescue had taken hours because their equipment was failing. "Doctor," called Nurse Park So-jin, "we have a little girl here with the fever. Her temperature is very high." Lee Young-soo went to examine the child. She could not have been more than 6 years old. Her parents stood nearby, looking terrified and helpless. "Can you help her?" the mother asked. "I will try," he replied, though he was not sure what he could do. The fever medicine was almost gone, and the children seemed to get sicker faster than the adults. As he worked, Lee Young-soo thought about his own family back on Earth. He had a daughter about the same age as this little girl. He wondered if he would ever see her again. Dr. Park Mina was still working on her communication project when the building shook from another alien flyby. The ships were coming lower now, almost like they were studying the colony's defenses. "Lee Jun-seok," she called to her assistant, "hand me that power coupling." "Dr. Park," he said nervously, "do you really think this will work?" "Honestly, no," she replied, "but we have to try something, even if we can only send a short message. Maybe someone will hear it." They worked through the night, connecting dozens of small communicators together. It looked like a strange metal spider web, but the power readings were promising. "Ready to test?" Park Mina asked. "As ready as we can," Lee Jun-seok replied. She activated the device. For a moment, nothing happened. Then lights began blinking and the system came to life. "We have power," she said excitedly. "Now, let us see if we can punch a signal through to space." The message was simple. "This is New Busan Colony calling Earth. We are under attack. Send help immediately. Coordinates attached." They sent it again and again, hoping someone, somewhere, would hear their cry for help. Unknown to them, their desperate signal was already traveling through space, bouncing off relay stations and heading toward Earth. But space was vast and signals took time to travel. Help would come, but not soon enough to stop what was about to happen. In 3 days, Commander Veltar would launch his final attack. The people of New Busan had no idea that they were about to face their greatest test. All they could do was hope and prepare for whatever came next. The morning sun rose over New Busan Colony, but Lee Hyun felt no warmth from its light. He stood at the window of his office, looking out at the settlement that had become his responsibility 3 years ago. The buildings looked tired and worn, just like the people who lived in them. Lee Hyun was the colony administrator, which meant he was supposed to take care of everyone here. 50,000 people called New Busan their home. They had come here to mine valuable metals from the rocky planet. The work was hard, but they had been happy. That was before the aliens came. Dr. Park Mina knocked on his door and walked in without waiting for an answer. She looked exhausted. Her hair was messy and her clothes were dirty from working on the broken machines. "Any luck with the communication array?" Lee Hyun asked, though he already knew the answer from her expression. "Nothing," Park Mina said, sitting down heavily in a chair. "The damage is too severe. Those alien ships destroyed everything when they attacked the relay stations. We have been completely cut off from Earth for 3 years now." Lee Hyun nodded slowly. 3 years without any contact with home. 3 years of not knowing if Earth even knew they were still alive. The people of New Busan had started to lose hope. Some thought Earth had forgotten about them. Others believed that Earth itself had been destroyed by the same aliens who trapped them here. Captain Kim Dae-ho entered the office. His uniform was clean, but his face showed the strain of constant worry. As the head of colony security, he had only 200 volunteers to protect all 50,000 colonists. They were good people, but they were not real soldiers. "Administrator," Kim Dae-ho said, "we detected 3 alien ships on the outer sensors this morning. They are watching us again." Lee Hyun closed his eyes for a moment. The aliens had been doing this for months now. They would appear, study the colony, and then disappear. It was like they were playing with them, like cats playing with mice before killing them. "Do we know what they want?" Lee Hyun asked. "I think they are just having fun," Kim Dae-ho replied. "They could destroy us anytime they want. But they seem to enjoy making us suffer slowly." Dr. Park Mina stood up and walked to the window. "I have been studying their technology from the wreckage of our destroyed satellites. They are much more advanced than us. Their weapons, their shields, their engines, everything is better than what we have." "Then why do they not just finish us?" Lee Hyun asked. "Maybe they think we are not worth the effort," Kim Dae-ho said bitterly. "Or maybe they are waiting for something." On the bridge of his warship, Commander Veltar of the Vorthak Empire watched the human colony through his viewing screen. The humans looked so small and weak from up here. Their buildings were simple and ugly. Their defenses were pathetic. Veltar had been ordered to clear this sector of all human presence, but he was in no hurry. The humans could not escape, and they could not call for help. He had destroyed all their communication relays personally. They were trapped here like insects in a jar. "Commander," his second officer said, "should we attack the colony today?" "No," Veltar replied, showing his sharp teeth in what humans might call a smile. "Let them suffer a little longer. Fear makes the hunt more interesting." The Vorthak had been expanding their empire for centuries. They had conquered dozens of species. Humans were just the latest in a long line of victims. But these humans were particularly entertaining. They kept trying to fight back even though they had no chance of winning. "Sir, our new recruits need combat practice," the officer continued. "Patience," Veltar said. "We will use the human colony as a training ground, but not yet. Let them grow more desperate first." Back in the colony, engineer Yoon Soo-jin was working in the power plant. The main generator was making strange noises again. Everything in the colony was breaking down. They did not have the right parts to fix things properly. "Yoon, we need more power for the medical center," called Medico Jiwoo over the radio. "We have 30 people sick with the fever and the machines are not working right." "I am trying," Yoon Soo-jin replied, wiping sweat from her face. "But this generator is very old. I do not think it will last much longer." The fever had been spreading through the colony for weeks. Without proper medicine from Earth, people were getting sicker. The children were the worst affected. Oh, Jiwoo was doing her best, but she was just one person trying to care for thousands. In the colony council chamber, Director Kang Bo-ram was meeting with the other leaders. The room was small and simple, with metal chairs around a basic table. The lights flickered because of the power problems. "Food supplies are running low," reported supply manager Han Yuri. "If we keep rationing at the current level, we have maybe 6 months left. The mining equipment is breaking down faster than we can repair it," added Chief Engineer Lim Min-ho. "Without new parts from Earth, we cannot maintain production." Kang Bo-ram looked around the table at the worried faces. These people had volunteered to lead the colony, but none of them had expected to face a situation like this. "What about evacuation?" asked Council Member Kim Sun-mi. "Maybe we could hide in the mountains until help comes." "The mountains are dangerous," replied pilot Shin Woo-hyun. "The weather is harsh and there are wild animals. We would lose more people trying to survive out there." Security Chief Choi Jun spoke up. "Our weapons are almost out of ammunition. The next time those aliens attack, we will not be able to fight back for long." Lee Hyun listened to all the reports. Every piece of news was bad. The colony was dying slowly like a plant without water. But he could not give up hope. These people were depending on him. "We will keep trying," he said finally. "Dr. Park will continue working on the communications. Maybe she can send a signal to Earth somehow." Administrator Shin Woo-hyun said quietly, "I have been thinking. I could take one of our small ships and try to break through the alien blockade. If I can reach the next star system, maybe I can find help." "That would be suicide," Kim Dae-ho said immediately. "Those alien ships are too fast and too strong." "Maybe," Shin Woo-hyun replied. "But if I do nothing, we all die anyway. At least this way someone might survive to tell Earth what happened here." Lee Hyun thought about this. It was a desperate plan, but they were in a desperate situation. "Not yet," he said. "Give Dr. Park more time to fix the communications. If that fails, we will consider your plan." That night, Lee Hyun walked through the colony streets. The lights were dim because of the power shortage. People moved quietly, like they were afraid to make noise. Children stayed close to their parents. Everyone looked tired and scared. He stopped at the memorial wall where they had written the names of people who had died since the aliens came. There were too many names already. Good people who had gotten sick or been killed in the attacks. People who had come here to build a new life but found only death instead. "We will not give up," Lee Hyun whispered to the wall. "Earth will come for us. They have to." But deep in his heart, he was starting to wonder if anyone would ever come to save them. The silence from Earth was complete. For all they knew, their homeworld had been destroyed long ago. Maybe they were the last humans left in the universe. Above them, the alien ships continued their patient watch. Commander Veltar was in no hurry. He had all the time in the world. The humans were not going anywhere. The colony of New Busan settled into another night of fear and uncertainty. Nobody knew that far away, their desperate call for help was finally reaching its destination. Help was coming, but it would take time. The question was whether they could survive long enough to see it arrive.